How's it going, everyone? And welcome to No Excuses with your favorite show hosts, Ara Still.
Norian.
And we'll also we bring you the latest news and games commentary for the week that was. Although I don't remember seeing any, I guess. Since I've spent a good amount of the week hiding from the rest of the world online wise to avoid spoilers. That ever present threat. At any rate, if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com. You can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw, or you can join us in the Discord server, which is the best place to converse with the show host and other listeners to the show. You can do that by clicking on the link provided in the show description underneath the show archive on YouTube.
Do it. Oh, so yeah, it's been a weird old week. Like stuff happened in the games industry. A lot of it bad, but there's some good, at least neutral notes as well.
Yep. The burn has got stuck in our heads. The Portraits Mécaniques d'Elise Cardinal.
YouTube insisted that I watch that in various forms.
It didn't insist that you watch it over and over, though.
I only watched it once. Or I only watched one once, but it gets stuck in your head. And I'm not even up to Fontaine in Genshin yet, so that's going to ruin whatever happens in Fontaine, isn't it?
Spoilers that video does not have.
Yes. No, it's more like anytime Novalette's up there trying to say something important, and that's going to get stuck in my head, and that'll just ruin the moment.
Are you actually going to come to over here?
I'm a coming. I'm also dead, as my mouse decrees.
Look, Aristiel, a bog full of murky, nasty water.
Oh.
Miyazaki! Alright, we'll dive in, I suppose, to the bog, but also the weeks.
Yes, Fern.
My week has been, still on the work hell march, but little time I did have, I stunk into Elden Ring.
Stunk is correct.
Stunk is correct because that game is full of poison bogs.
Oh,
You have not turned on your tanking button, have you? So yeah, I did try to keep going with that silly build that I had, the two shields, but I think I kind of hit a wall with mini mode.
Why can't you be normal, Fern?
Because normal is boring. Well, actually, that is not quite the case, because I started a new Heavy Faith build so far, and fireballs are not boring.
I would not call a Pure Faith build a orthodox build.
It's not Pure Faith. I'm actually going kind of Faith Strength.
I would go Strength Faith instead of Faith Strength, or you're going to run into, I've got halfway through the dungeon and have no FP.
Yeah, I've already started to run into that a little bit.
So I
don't even remember what I put my points into. I think I put them all into strength and stamina, or whatever the stamina equivalent is, endurance, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Endurance is a good sync at least because it lets you wield heavier gear. So that's been fun. I've basically been running around and blowing up Limgrave.
Why isn't there a portal?
Lost the coin.
We are going to Limgrave.
Is it actually 50%?
Experience shows exactly 50%, and everybody else says. I have gone on streaks of both directions before. In fact, I'd say streaks are more common than a consistent curve, but it averages out to 50%.
All right. We doing my map, or you got another one? Oh, there you go. So yeah, that's basically been my week. It's just Elden Ring. Not a whole lot else.
I've sent you many Elden Ring memes.
You have.
I sent you many Elden Ring funny videos.
Yes, the memes.
And
also, go back and watch the Carbot videos because it's alarming just how recognizable the situations that he comes up with in that are. But yeah, the other thing is, looking into what various builds I could come out with and not going to Fextra Life.
Just pretend that website doesn't exist. Life will become.
It's hard to though, because they insist on you going there. It tends to be the very first hit in Google.
Yeah, just do not use Fextra Life. It is wrong.
It is in a lot of cases wrong.
What does Fextra Life add to the experience that you couldn't just get from using like an interactive map or something?
An annoying Twitch insert.
So the way most people accidentally wind up on Fextra Life is they will go try to look up, okay, what do I have to do to progress this quest? Because Elden Ring is about facilitating the organic play experience of a role playing. You do not have a quest log. You don't have markers. The quest NPCs just move after you've exhausted their dialogue and complete a part of their quest. And whenever you go to a rest point to reload the map.
Yeah, thankfully they did patch it so once you found where an NPC has moved to, it updates the map.
Yeah, there didn't used to be NPC markers at all.
Yeah.
Fern's map.
Alright. Hang on, I need to open it up again. We are up over there. Get out of the way.
And this is all great and fine. I like my first playthrough just kind of bumbling around and figuring out, where the NPCs are and having a good old grand blind playthrough time in the game allows you to actually have that facility and discover, NPCs you met and talked to before, and they'll pop up in different parts of the world. And that's all grand and good. But sometimes on your second playthrough, you wanna actually see the quest lines to completion. So you go look up how to move it. And Fextra Life has some kind of deal with the googly googs that they are going to appear at the top of the list no matter what you search for. And Fextra Life is just wrong. I would wager that 80+% of their pages for any given item, questline, NPC, bit of quote unquote helpful advice are just flat wrong.
Yep. Well, at the very least, incomplete.
No, not even incomplete, just wrong, especially for Elden Ring.
You've got to keep in mind that these are the people who write the articles on Fextra Life are like the Reddit posting contingent of any given games community, which means the most opinionated, the most self-important, and the most ignorant of any given group of people.
And also the least competent.
So yeah, just don't go to Fextra Life. Like, we've learned that lesson with Monster Hunter World, where a lot of the information there is also wrong.
Yeah, Monster Hunter World was my first experience with Fextra Life. I don't recall ever successfully obtaining any information from it.
Yeah, nothing I couldn't figure out in the game myself anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing, is they're so wrong with Fextra Life. The crap you intuit just for yourself is going to be closer to the mark than whatever the heck Fextra Life puts out there.
I wrote an extremely lengthy document on Monster Hunter Stories 2, detailing strategies against various monsters because everything was wrong online. It was a very long document.
Need on everything.
Yep.
And everything was determined. What do I have to do? Oh, right. Here we go.
Need the roll. Yeah.
I was wondering where my window was because I'd forgotten that they can disappear. They can disappear into the corner. But yeah, I wrote an extremely long document detailing the specifics of how to fight each monster because it was necessary. Because the wiki was trash.
The wiki was just wrong.
Oh no, I got mugshotted.
You got sloot-shotted.
You did get sloot-shotted. All right. Jeez, it's been a while since we did treasure maps. There you go. Have some guys.
I was dragging Ibu along for some maps to help me.
Yep. It's really something we should do more often because they are really good for money. If you get lucky.
Now, Ibu betrayed the right door one time, and this was a mistake.
No. Oh, he paid for his betrayal.
Yes, we could not get the right door to ever forgive us. It took many, many runs for it to eventually.
Oh well. Lesson has been learned. Do not screw with the right door.
Unless it's a disco door.
Unless it's a disco door.
But even that will still count as a betrayal. It's just, you will, yeah, oh, right. I was thinking we were already on this, this platform spawn. Like, okay, these are dead.
So yeah, that's really been it. It's just faffing about in Limgrave. And I am really glad because, like, going back to Limgrave, it probably is one of the densest areas in the game in terms of just stuff.
There's a ton of crap in Alta.
Yeah. We're going right. We're going right. Yep.
I don't
Had to make
remember
sure we got
much
the right door.
about. I don't remember much about the structure of the place because I got lost so many times and I ended up in so many weird places. I had lots of situations where I'd have like a random patch on the map revealed because I just wandered through a portal and got teleported to the opposite end of the map, or I had just followed a rabbit trail and ended up somewhere ridiculous, or
Oh. See, this is your bad karma coming back already.
I can't believe it. I've never seen this happen. You don't fail the first one.
Yeah, in that first area in Limgrave, like, there's one chest that will send you all the way up to...
Well, there's two.
Caelid?
There's two trap chests. There's one that'll send you to Caelid, and it'll stick
Yep.
you in the middle of a cave and disable your ability to teleport until you get out of the cave.
Yes.
Everything in the cave is over level for you, and your only hope is
to... sprint or sneak?
You're not going to sneak.
I sneaked.
I fought.
Oh dear. Yeah, don't fort.
On
the plus side, though, that one will let you get the meteor stuff really early.
have to land.
I gotta land again. Hang on. Because I just closed it without looking. Because I are good at this. Garlemald. Why are you attacking a tree?
Back road.
Whereabouts in Garlemald?
Must teleport.
Alright, if I'm leaving the way then, alright. Where is it? So one of those stupid ones where you can't really tell where it is. It'll be right there. Okay. Broken Glass.
My next one is also.
Alright, directly north of Broken Glass is where I'm going then. Yeah, there's the, let me see, there's, yeah, the Caelid Cave portal. There's the one that takes you up to Angry Beast Man.
That one
which is kind of hidden in the bush.
That one's not a trap though. That one you can go back.
Yeah, you can just go out and hit the grace and out you go.
That one's in fact there so you can go turn in Deathroot.
Yes, and start that quest.
He tells you about it. Like, oh, you go here, you can turn in Deathroot and get extra fate spells.
Yes. Which I intend to play around with, actually, because they look weird.
You got...
Okay. Where are you going?
I don't know. I don't know who I'm supposed to be following.
Oh,
because both of you are moving in different places.
I'm auto-running.
I'm not moving at all.
I was auto-running while I was thinking.
Oh, hang on a minute. Am I in the right spot? No, I'll find out, I suppose. No.
Are you being bad?
I am being bad.
I just make Miyazaki cry. Not Miyazaki. I make Yoshi cry.
This is one of those treasure maps with, like, no details on it.
Yeah, this is why I just make Yoshi cry.
Yeah.
Treasure maps are one of the things I make him cry about.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen a treasure map which was particularly difficult to locate.
I need to look this one up, I think.
But
That's from Garlemald is just big empty space.
but the other one takes you to Altus. That you go up on top of this plateau. It gives you the talisman of very, very slow health regen if you can kill the giant that's protecting it.
Yeah, but that giant tends
I
to object
didn't.
rather strongly.
I didn't kill the giant. I just took the talisman and left.
Well, that's an option too, I suppose.
Okay. Oh, I guess it's from a chest. It's not a drop from the enemy, is it? So
The giant's not awake when you start. I don't think. He's idled. You should run past him. It's like I could fight him, or I could get the cool talisman and just leave.
All right. Do you have a treasure map here?
Yeah.
Either of you guys? All right. We'll do yours first, and while I look mine up.
Betty. Where are your cartography skills, Fern?
Non-existent. I've been playing too many games where they insist on having the mini-map rotate.
Oh, I hate this spot. Mobs here can reset real easy, and it's on a raised platform.
What was the site now? Collectopedia?
Just post it in chat.
Anyway. All right.
So anyway, yeah, those are the places you could wind up in from Limgrave. I was at the one. But yeah, so you're playing a more normal build this time.
A more normal build. It is a bit glass cannony, but I don't mind that so much after being kind of the complete opposite of that.
You will want to invest in Vigor.
Yes, Vigor is essential because being able to take more than one hit is important.
Yeah, it is. It had caught a lot of people off guard going into Elden Ring initially. I remember that you actually had to invest in the health stat this time, because normally it's a very optional investment. Like, you can usually take 2-3 hits from a boss no matter what. The previous games, not in good old Elden Ring.
Nope.
You don't have investments in Vigor. You're just popped.
You can get smushed, and you can get smushed by trash, not just bosses.
So, I might piggyback off your week then while we're on the Elden Ring train.
Go for it.
We're all on that. I have not made very much DLC progress because it came out right when it came out. I got sick. So,
right.
Find Joe map.
Okay, I found my map. It is complete opposite corner of the map, because of course it is.
But I have explored the Gravesite Plains, posted many messages, downvoted many messages about holy buttholes, and
I mean, yes,
and gone through and did the first mini dungeon, the Belorat Jail, that I found. Ended with a really tough mini boss fight that took me about 20 attempts.
Damn.
And granted, about 10 of those attempts were insta-dying. I died so fast one time, my runes wound up outside the boss door.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Yes, if you die fast enough while still moving forward, your last stable ground location is directly in front of the boss door.
Boss just said no.
Yes. So he kicked my butt for a bit, but eventually I got him on the ropes and got him voice broken enough times that he died.
You did not get Lion Man on the ropes.
No, I got him to phase 2 like twice. And phase 2 is scary. So
There it is.
I got through the first real dungeon. There's still quite a few locations that I need to explore in that dungeon, but I did make it to the boss store and stuck my face in there a few times. Boss is scary. He hits like a tanker truck.
Enjoy.
He's also a big flailing beast type enemy, even though he's a lion dancer.
Emphasis on the flailing.
Yeah, and so because he's
Yeah.
hopping around so much, you have to keep lock on, and it seems like half of the challenge of that boss fight is keeping it so that you keep him locked on without forcing yourself to vomit.
Ugh, one of those ones.
He's hopping all over you, and he hits really hard, and his attacks are really tough to read the first few times. So I am doing the DLC. Well, I started the DLC and got as far as I did, very underleveled, and without all the base stuff from the base game that I expected to have before the DLC came out. As a combination of work and getting sick, just put the stopper on that. So I did not get as far as I hoped I would. I need to go through and collect a few sacred tears to bump my healing up, and a few more golden seeds to get a few more flasks. I think just to make getting and level up a few times, just to make it so it's a bit easier to navigate those bosses and learn their mechanics.
Yep. Oh, hang on a sec. Where'd it go? There it is.
My sticker book is all dusty.
Oh no. Oh, hang on a sec. Get off my mount so I can decipher the map. That's Melamatorium. That's space.
This?
Space. We've not had a good amount of luck with the portal this time.
No, it happens sometimes. So yeah, that's all the piggybacking I had to do for Elden Ring, because I have not made as much progress as I wanted to. Although I was surprised that Moog was basically a non-issue for me. I was about 30 levels lower than the last time I did him. With a build that didn't even have a maxed weapon. I still don't have a maxed weapon. And I was able to get him in like 8 attempts. Oh right, he does that. Oh right, he does that. By the time I had already done that for all of his abilities, it all just came back immediately.
Well, goodness knows you spent enough time fighting him last time.
Yeah, I did fight Mini Moog with the shield build, and I also had Dung Eater, who just runs in, stands in fire, and dies.
Summons?
No, this was the companion.
Summons?
Well, I mean, yes, but he's also completely useless.
Burn, are you going to teleport to the moon?
Are we going to the moon, are we? Okay. Let's see if you guys want to do your maps.
This is the closest place to the moon on the map, so it's cheapest.
Because of logic.
Aim for teleports. Finish all your ARR relics so you can dump all your allied seals at Aetheryte.
Or instead of that, no.
How about no? Is no good? Yeah. So yeah, Minimo, like I can see myself actually being able to beat him if I had anything with reach. But yeah, with that build, not easy because he just tends to stand in the fire and wait for you to come to him. And poke you with his... What the hell do you even call that thing? It's technically a trident?
A fork.
It is. It's more of a candlestick, though.
A fork.
Here's a fork. Well, it's reach.
He's certainly going to put a fork in you.
Nihil.
Unus. But it starts with Trace. Trace! Dos, unes, nihil, nihil, nihil. Oh, I got all my health back.
All right, there you go. Oh, yeah.
Must.
I'm wondering how fast I'm going to be able to beat. And actually, no, I shouldn't do that sort of thing because I know I'm going to screw myself if I wonder how fast I can go in and beat Godric. Godric's not hard. He's just fiddly.
Well, you have you
Your
beaten?
objective is to play the DLC. You're going to have to try and be at least a little bit normal.
Yeah, I'm here to
Yeah.
tell you if you try to do cheesy builds your first time going through that DLC without a good grasp of the fundamentals, Lion Dancer is just going to crap all over you.
Just, completely rearrange your face.
Yeah, like you need to figure out how to make that strength build work first.
Yeah. I got an idea of where I want to go with it, I think, but I just got to play around with it and see what works and what items I can get my hands on.
That DLC ain't joking around. They did so a lot of people are getting caught off guard because I think they expected to go into the DLC and just raffle stomp it right away. But they have put a mechanic in here for those of us that specifically that were afraid of overleveling it, which I'm very thankful for. Sekiro style system where by collecting items in the world and by killing bosses, you collect these little skeleton fragment things. And you can turn them in at graces to increase your damage and damage resistance by flat percentages while you're in the DLC only. And to compensate
Alright.
for this, the base damage of everything in the DLC is jacked through the effing roof.
Oh, great. So if you do not get any of these the thingamies, you're going to get smushed.
Yes. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're still going to get smushed. Where did you find a moose?
I don't know.
Canada.
Moose man me. There we go. Dead moose.
Oh.
Yay!
But I'm very glad they added this Sekiro style gating system in.
Yeah, just specifically to stop shenanigans like that.
But it has made a whole lot of people get caught off guard, I've noticed.
Well, the Steam reviews are very bad for this DLC. Like it's like mixed. It dropped from being extremely good reviews to being mediocre very, very fast, and people are saying that it's largely people complaining that it's too hard.
Yeah,
I mean, spot the people who mimicked Tier and War stopped their way through their original game.
Yeah, like this is literally the shoe I've been talking about with the summons and the DLC stuff. Like
The filter is an effect.
yeah, it is. I do not think those things should have been included. I think they should have never ever been included in the base game.
Shiny boy.
All that material will be useless in like half a week.
I know, right?
Is that why these maps are so cheap?
These maps are so cheap right now because everybody's using the Moogle Tombstone maps that are guaranteed a portal.
Oh, I see.
So these ones just start selling.
Yeah.
But I don't want to farm Moogle Tombstones.
I already farmed Moogle Tombstones, but I spent it all on MGP.
I mean, yes.
And I did it by farming gates because you get tombstones this time for doing gates. So it was MGP City for a few weeks.
Also the double NGP, which is really nice.
Yeah, I abused the heck out of that. But yeah, this DLC. Oh, it's so hard. I can't beat the boost. Oh no, I can't summon my Mimic Tier and spam Hoarfrost Stomp, and my Boomvale Katana got nerfed. I can't just shoot a laser beam that does 25% of the boss's HP in FP. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, go fuck yourselves.
Get good.
Those of us that enjoy challenging video games have one company that makes them for us. Go cry somewhere else, you bunch of babies.
Go back to Ubisoft.
I think that this is the best argument in favor of Poison Swamps. I think so long as Miyazaki is a raging sadist like that, maybe you'll keep getting hard games.
Yeah.
Hey,
Aristeel's karma's rubbed off on us.
Yep, you angered the right door. What did you do?
Why did you do this, Aristeel?
Ibu went in the left door one time. It's not my fault.
Uh,
Now on Balls Maps.
all right.
Okay.
The only other bit of my week has basically been faffing around in a museum in Star Rail.
I've got
I don't remember much about the museum because I was incredibly sozzled when I did that quest.
It's pretty easy. It's like you get all your staff lined up, and then you press the button, and then you
Well,
press the button.
most of that stuff is really easy. Like that's the first sort of side event that they did, and the main reason for its existence is like get to know Jirilo 6. Its history, its people. Like it's purely designed for people who just like the setting.
Yep. Here, go farm 50 robots.
Right.
I'm up to that bit now.
Let's just stand down here where everybody else is.
There's just so much game coming out right now. If I'm putting
so
Legend of
much
Heroes off for these games that are out right now too. The next one's coming out in this bit.
Yeah, like in terms of video at the moment, we're eating pretty good.
Yeah, that's just so Star Rail has only continued to slip further and further down the priority list. Got
It's all Dan Heng's fault.
yeah, basically.
That's what you get for being a personality vacuum.
It's not as if the story is bad or anything. Like I enjoyed it very much. I think it's worth playing, but not at the cost of Don Hung.
Like you've now heard his voice.
So, like I said though, like my lack of faith in the Western dubbing industry has never failed to be rewarded. Like, I uninstalled the English voices and installed the Japanese voice pack as the first thing I did when I installed that game, because I just assumed that there would be at least one voice actor who drove me up the wall, and therefore it was not worth indulging.
Because there's always one.
It's my map. Where in my disastrous inventory is it?
Man, look at all that poop water.
Poop
Why is-
water?
Why is
I mean,
everywhere
that's just dirty. It's not poison swampy.
it's poop water?
Poop water. You're just seeing poop water everywhere now.
Yeah. I did get the that ping on Discord. It's like all it was just a screenshot of Aristeel looking down into a poison swamp.
That the message I eventually left there is now my most upvoted message in the history of Elden Ring.
Why is it always bog?
Why is it always crab? Why is it always bog?
He loves crabs as well.
Yeah, he's had a thing since Dark Souls like 2 of well, he wasn't involved with Dark Souls 2, but apparently he had attached to the guy who did it because they included giant crabs in that game, and the giant crabs have made a reappearance in every single game that FromSoft has made.
Yes. And we also got sniper lobsters in Elden Ring because why not?
Oh, the sniper lobsters. You find the ones in the sewers.
I did not actually. I must have gone a completely different way. I did find, however, pipes full of poo slugs.
Yeah, those are pretty easy to find. Also pretty easy to get lost.
Oh yeah, the sewers are just a maze, and it's all in the dark. So good luck. You're gonna get lost in there, no matter what you try.
Good luck even finding the sewers, unless you get really lucky.
Yeah,
Because the main entrance to the sewers is a little bit hidden.
it is buried in a maze, and if you go the wrong way, you just end up with dead ends basically.
It is a second full dungeon hidden in a second full dungeon at the bottom of a subsection of the first full dungeon that is basically a mini dungeon in and of itself.
Yeah, basically, I just wandered around in there and just kept fighting things until I eventually goes, oh, here's Mini Moog.
Like, oh, here's a well in the ground. There's a whole nother dungeon inside the dungeon.
There is a dungeon within your dungeon, because of course there is, which is underneath a dungeon.
Uh-huh. I'm reminded of that "Yo dog, I heard you like" meme.
Yes. Whatever happened to Exhibit anyway?
Oh,
Uh,
but yeah, we've
the
got
glory of crappy 90s TV.
yep. But we've got well, I think that was 2000s, but
It was early 2000s. Which actually reminds me, I ran across a video the other day of what happened to someone. Someone found one of those spruced up cars in the junkyard.
oh no.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
I don't know if I would call what they do sprucing it up.
Well, ruining is probably a better word. They ruin the car.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got so many videos right now. We got the Elden Ring DLC. We got Dawn Trail coming out. If you're into trails, you got Kuro no Kiseki coming out.
Yep.
There's not enough time for this. Like, there's I have a job.
like
At least you're not into autistic games, because those are also coming out all over the place.
like
I don't know if I would classify the games that I play as not autistic. That doesn't seem like a safe assertion to make.
It's a different flavor of autism, I guess.
Oh, you got
to poke it.
All right, I have to activate, don't I?
It's actually beneficial if y'all get the chests and I don't, or the portals and I don't, because I have to go stand where they're gonna spawn. Speaking of poo water,
why is this our life?
Sewer water. Why do they have a move called? Why is your move called sewer water?
These are not Miyazaki monsters because they don't have butts.
They do not have butts. Buttholes.
Try finger.
Butthole.
Lover, oh lover, time for pickle.
Disproportionate number of Miyazaki monsters seem to have a butthole that you're supposed to put a sword into.
Even if they don't have a butthole, you just create a butthole and put a sword in it. With the sword. You create it with the sword.
No, you don't create it with the demon of hatred. You just kind of punch him in the nuts.
Well, true.
You get monkey nuts.
Like a speed bag.
I wasn't going to say it.
Like,
yeah.
Did they have to add jiggle physics to it whenever you hit it?
Yes, I guess.
The answer is yes.
All right. We should move on because we are a bit limited on time.
Right. So, Vol, your week. We've done mine.
My week? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Blue Archive. I finished the current phase of the Decagrammaton story, and they introduced the Fifth Prophet, although Fifth Prophet isn't a raid boss yet, and they introduced the servants of Decagrammaton and Melkut, who is supposed to be the final prophet. So they developed a bunch of story without going anywhere with it, just to wind everybody up, essentially.
No,
So,
right.
Yeah. Not much else other than Decagrammaton is happening this week. I think next week is the camping event where the Hikikomori hackers of Veritas at Millennium School are all forced to go on a camping trip in the outdoors. Forced to touch grass against their will.
Could possibly go wrong.
Sounds like a wonderful idea.
I think that there are a couple of characters in that event that are sort of kind of meta, but I'm not really that focused on getting any of them because that only I think they're only meta if you're really attempting to clear Torment, and if you're attempting to clear Torment, you're already crazy. So, what else? Okay, so version 2.3 for Star Rail came out. So I had to spend most of my week dodging spoilers on YouTube and putting up with being constantly fed an endless diet of people's look how much damage I can do with Firefly videos.
Yes.
because Firefly is the new meta as far as everybody is concerned. Although I don't know how long it will last, since Firefly is pretty much constrained to paradigms where you are able to break your opponent and then do heaps and heaps and heaps of break damage. Like it would be, it's the type of mechanic that is effortless to break in a gimmick fight. No pun intended. Like because it's all centered around toughness depletion as fast as possible, and then doing super break damage using Harmony Trailblazer to buff your damage. And
Incidentally, Harmony Trailblazer is now a free grab.
Yeah, because that's basically shifted the meta so much that they have to make sure everybody can use it, regardless of whether or not they've gotten through the story, because otherwise it will just destabilize things too much.
I unlocked Harmony Trailblazer and left it at that. As I don't really want to use it until I either unlock it through the story or legitimately actually need it.
Yeah, Harmony Trailblazer is a Harmony unit that is effective in any context. It's especially effective if you have good type matches for your opponents, or if you've got a sort of what people call a colorless breaker. But you've got Robin as well, and Robin will also work in every circumstance. And as an all-purpose support, I think Robin is probably better, because Harmony Trailblazer is specific to that breaking strategy and basically provides no real benefits outside of break. So if you don't have characters that are built for break, you're not going to get very much benefit. Whereas in the case of Robin, to get benefit from Robin, all you need to do is build Robin. That's pretty much all that's required.
Oh no. Yay. Yeah, I'm starting to reach a point where I actually need to start properly thinking about my builds. And that means grinding.
I'm not.
I didn't until like Equilibrium 4.
Well, largely because I've just been using like whoever's been laying around and getting through it at that point.
Well, that's what I was doing as well. But it's so they've released some other quality of life stuff as well. Like they've made a bunch of changes to Simulated Universe to make farming faster in there, and they've added a equivalent to focused experience mode in Genshin, and they've added a thing. I think they did anyway, and they added a thing that allows you to do events that you don't have access to yet in geographical terms. So, like, let's say you don't have access to Penacony, but an event takes place on Penacony, then there's an option that you can flick on that will just give you access to that zone so you can do the event, with the, the warning proviso that you may not get a great experience because you're going to be spoiled on all the characters you'll meet and nothing will make sense. But they will give you access to it if all you care about is hoovering up those Stellar Jades.
Yep.
Oh, anything of value in here?
Not really.
No, there might be. Cloth is 100k each.
Okay.
Up to you if you want to.
So, I don't really care. We'll give it one go. I don't remember how this works.
Play high-low.
What are we supposed to do?
You play high-low.
Press the button.
Are you kidding?
Really?
That's some bull. That's some absolute bull. But yeah, so I did the story. I wanted to clear it as quickly as possible before I got spoiled on it. So 2.3's story is not a climactic one. Oh, disappoint. Because the climax was in 2.2. This is a very, very obviously a Daemon epilogue, as well as sort of like a breadcrumb to the next part of the story. But it's not perfunctory either. There is a lot of, when I say content, what I mean is that there's a lot of like dialogue, I guess you could say. Like there's a lot a lot of maneuvering is taking place here because 2.2 you bring the crisis, if you will, to a close. I have to go into my saddlebag now. Hold on. You bring the crisis on Penacony more or less to a close, or at least the crisis in sort of hazard terms, I guess you could say, because being who you are, you create quite a bit of havoc in the process of that is a
Without digging
museum
for
shape.
spoilers, I'm going to say being a smooth-brained raccoon.
Yeah, well, there's just a lot of stuff got broken on the way, and so Penacony's lost a lot of. There's a lot of sort of meta, sort of like cosmological stuff went down in terms of what Penacony is and does and is capable of was altered very slightly, but in a significant way, with commercial impact for Penacony. And commercial impact is important if your entire planet is based on tourism.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, there's quite a bit of implications there, and Penacony was originally a rebel planet because it used to be an IPC prison. Now the IPC want their investment back, and so on. The IPC always want their investment back. It's kind of their thing.
They do like money.
They like money a lot.
Like,
So
maybe a
it's
bit too
about-
much.
Yeah. Let's try here. So basically okay, so it looks a lot like that, but there's probably another part that looks very similar. Oh, that one looks almost identical on the map.
That's not the most important part of this pack.
I'm not. At any rate, the story is a lot of the first part of the story. I guess the bulk of it takes place on the sort of the pleasure barge of the Alfalfa family, and it's basically centered around the sort of negotiations over how to handle the aftermath and keep everything equitable between all the parties involved without making any big enemies or anything like that. It's basically finding a political equilibrium after all of the events that went down in the past 2 patches. Well, it's that sort all settled. There's sort of like a little mini crisis where you run around and then you get rickrolled by Aha because
why not?
Because that's just the sort of Aeon that Aha is. But
Best Aeon. The correct Aeon.
Most chaotic Aeon, definitely.
and then that's sort of like the first sort of emotional terminus of the plot arc is in there, and so you do a bunch of playing from the perspectives of various other characters just for brief periods of time, but I think it's for the first time really you spend a lot of time in sort of loose proximity to the Trailblazer while not being Trailblazer, and
Okay.
so you don't interact with Trailblazer directly, but you see when you're playing as Firefly, you see Trailblazer at a distance several times, in fact, over the course of the patch, and in every situation, she's doing something unbelievably goober. Like just this is, and there's usually like 1 or 2 NPCs nearby passing comment on what that crazy person is doing. The thing, it doesn't really help that one of the things that they established very early on in 2.0, I think it was, is that Trailblazer is a little bit oversensitive to Memoria, and Memoria is it's like a type of particle that exists, or a type of radiation, but it's what happens when memory breaks into real space. The sort of the material that it's made out of is called Memoria. And Trailblazer is oversensitive to it compared to the average person. But what that means is on Penacony, she can see things other people can't see. They're really there, but on a layer of reality that the average person can't perceive. But
Right.
everybody can perceive Trailblazer interacting with these things
So they just see Stell standing around talking to herself or something.
on the regular.
Oh dear.
So you do develop a reputation as kind of a crazy person over the course of Penacony. But yeah. after that, the final epilogue of the story is it's essentially sort of a very almost explicit it is an explicit saying goodbye to Penaconian and almost explicit paying of respect to, you know, the law. The the
Oh, hang on. Where's
the
wife?
characters literally go around the place paying their respects to the various characters. That's like the point of this, and then sort of like reflecting on the meaning of what they've done and the philosophy of the people involved and how that will affect them going forward and how they'll view their duties and their place in the world going forward and so on. So it's a very sort of reflective sequence, and you go around and you talk to various characters about, you know, the history, what it's all meant, what they've accomplished, and so on. And then the last scene on Penacony is when you give your farewells to Acheron, who is, you know, moving on to her next sort of attempt at forestalling her own fate, because, you know, as an emanator of Ix, like, nobody willingly becomes an emanator of Niality. Becoming normally you don't. You'd have to be kind of a weird person. But because normally what happens is you get being an emanator of Niality inflicted on you by getting too close to the Aeon in some way. And the result of that is that you gradually sort of disappear from existence.
Yeah.
And Acheron's basically trying to find a way to forestall that. Or at least that seems to be the impression I've gotten.
Clearly, she just needs to give Aha a ring.
I think she's
Yeah,
probably too much of a boring person for Aha's tastes. But
yeah, she's
the-
equally likely to end up as a gibbering loon in that situation.
But yeah, the interesting thing about it is that there's actually quite a lengthy. There are two routes for the farewell to Acheron scene, and one of them is an incredibly perfunctory, you know, farewell. I hope to meet you again sometime in the future type of farewell. But the other one is, it actually turns into a sort of a lengthy conversation about Acheron, her views, her circumstances, her opinions about what's going on, what's valuable, what's like. Basically, you have quite a expansive discussion with her in the other route, and there's very little way of knowing just how much difference there is depending on what you say in that conversation. You can miss a lot of stuff, and there's a couple of exclusive CGs to that route as well.
Damn.
And you can just miss it entirely by politely saying farewell to her instead of going down the other conversation route. But yeah, the other conversation route is definitely intended for people who know Raiden Mei from Honkai Third. But yeah, so yeah, there's definitely missable content there. I mean, presumably everybody's furiously posted it on YouTube when they realised that it was missable. But yeah, so yeah, I brought that story to a close, and then what opens up afterward is the match 3 game.
Oh,
Now,
no.
you basically get handheld through the primary part of the match 3 game in the story mode. You can just pick all the recommended moves and win every match. The real crux of the thing is the multiplayer mode, which I haven't delved into yet. And the main reason I haven't delved into it yet is that I have no idea how to play match 3. Like, presumably there's some sort of loose strategy of things that you should look for, things that you should prioritize interacting with, and that sort of thing. But I don't know any of that stuff, and there are some people who spend hours upon hours of their lives playing match 3. I think that's me out of. I think I'm out of maps now. We did not have great luck.
We did not.
No, but I've got an inventory full of crap in the store.
I mean, crap is good. We can sell crap.
I don't know. Most of this crap is kind of trash.
True.
This is all redundant material.
I got like one exciting fiber. I think Vol got all the cloth.
Did I?
Mulky cockpos.
Is that good? Like, I don't know. I got one. I got one Malacacapassus.
Malaki pass. There you go.
I got one piece of exciting fiber that I might be able to craft.
I got no exciting fiber.
Alright, should we get another batch since they're so cheap?
Ours still has no inventory space.
Oh, I got inventory
That's what he
space.
said.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I have no inventory space for me, which is one of my bags has stuff in it now.
Ah,
So
You may have a problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
my.
Yes, we can grab a couple more maps. Probably don't need to get a full
Yes,
free because you're gonna bail early.
Yeah,
So
we
there's-
blitzed through those really quick.
Or rather, we didn't get enough content to actually blitz through them.
Yes.
So there are significant rewards behind the match 3 game, so I'm going to have to at least become mediocre enough at it to beat somebody. Otherwise, it's going to be very disappointing because I won't be missing out on Stella Jade because I don't know how to play freaking match 3. But yeah, like it's something that's simple in concept, obviously. Otherwise, normies wouldn't be able to play it. But I presume that there are approaches to it that are more successful than others. So
Yes.
yeah, but I until today when I started doing the story part of the event, I had never attempted to play a match 3 game. I had no idea what I was doing. So yeah, I have not delved into the new mode of Simulated Universe yet that they have added. They've made a lot of adjustments to this compared to the original version of Simulated Universe. Namely, in the new one, they just max out the levels of your entire roster and give any that don't have relics, like placeholder relics, so that basically you can strategize around anybody in your roster, regardless of whether you've invested the time to build them or not.
That's pretty neat.
And also you have access to your entire roster for Simulated Universe at all times in that mode. So you don't have the situation where you only get blessings that are definitely calibrated for somebody you don't have with you. And so you end up doing weird halfway house strategies that don't properly work. So yeah, I haven't had a chance to really play with it yet though, but it looks interesting. I've done the minimum amount of the new in-game mode to get my free copy of Xueyi, which is a boss mode, and this cycle's bosses. I'm not going to say who they are because it'll be spoilers for Ara Steel, but yeah, it's sort of an interesting take on the bosses where they're a little bit different from their original incarnations. You fight two major bosses from the story back to back, using 2 different teams that you've got to build. And it seems that the general gist of this particular cycle, at least, is that you give them weaknesses by killing the ads with them, and then they will gain the ads weaknesses. And yeah, they've got various other abilities as well. But of course, because this is Firefly week, where Firefly has just come out, lots of toughness depletion based mechanics appear to be in effect this week. So yeah, they really want people to pull Firefly. I don't think they really needed to motivate people to pull Firefly, but because Firefly is such a fan favorite due to the story, they have made her share the banner with Ruanmei, who, as I've mentioned before, is the Waver Velvet of Star Rail, like the most one size fits all of the premium supports.
I'm sitting on top of my map at the end of the universe.
All right, I forgot what I came to the city for, so I didn't buy any. Let's see. I need to. What is it called? It starts with K, right? Time Worn K.
Kumbira. Something like that.
Kumbaya skin map.
Come on, come on. Oh, it's somewhere in my inventory, isn't it?
It is.
Labyrinthos.
You've got you've got a week nearly to sort out your inventory and prep for the expansion.
I don't know where I would even begin with sorting out my inventory.
Dump it all
It's
on
so
your
much-
retainers and dump it all on the market.
I think my retainers are full of junk,
How do you
and then
people
my
live?
Just tell
marketing is full of. Well, I live with it by not living with it. Like I don't play the game enough for it to be a problem.
like
It's as simple
Fair
as
enough.
that.
even in games where I do not like I will post in live show chat what is a horrible inventory for me. Like, this is just terrifying to me.
I did not get a port from you, so you're gonna have to tell me where you are.
Rod Treya at the end of the universe. What's that called?
The Dragon Camp, anyway.
Yeah, Ray
The
Tar-
Dragon Camp.
that one.
Yeah. It's a dragony name, I guess.
Yeah, I posted a live show chat what qualifies for me as a horribly unorganized inventory that's going to drive me up the wall.
I don't think
Yeah.
you want to look at my inventory. I think you might actually cry physical tears. But actually, that sounds like a plus to me. I'm going to link my inventory. He's going to literally blow a blood vessel, and we have to contact somebody to get him to take him to hospital.
Why? Why?
Where you going? Come back.
Oh,
Welcome
because I
back.
was holding down the mouse buttons.
What is this? Okay, we're pulling the Discord monitor onto the main menu here.
Oh no,
Okay,
war has been declared.
okay. What is wrong with you?
I let the chips fall where they may, man.
You need help.
I have never even clicked sort. I just let everything pile in there.
We have mine right now, which has all the junk from treasure maps in the top left bag. That's making me go crazy. And then you got Vol over here. I don't think there is a rhyme or reason to any of this. Why do you have old Moogle tombstones in here?
I don't know what to do with them. Like, what are you supposed to do with them?
Throw them
That's the sort
away!
of crap you scrape off one of your retainers or throw them away.
Keep them as a souvenir on a retainer, or you throw it away. Why do you
I
have
don't even know how to.
Why do you have an
tell if they're
earring
old or
in
not.
here?
What would I have an earring? Like, I don't know what's in here. You can tell me I've got. Why do you have X in here? I don't know that it's in there. That's why.
You have this ancient cosmetic earring in here you must have got from one of the Moogle Tome events.
What is it? Where is it? What are we talking about?
Bottom to the second to last row, far left.
Oh, I think I got that in Palace of the Dead or something, probably.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know where this crap comes from. I don't even know what most of the stuff is.
Anyway,
Oh boy.
what was I doing? I want to dig for a map before I kill you. Someone I know could be so disorganized.
I think he's tilted.
I have to do enough organizing in my day job. I don't really want to do it for fun in my off time. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, if I was a whale or if I had a whole bunch of Stellar Jade kicking about, I would probably look at pulling for Runmay's first Eidolon, which is really powerful, or Runmay's signature Light Cane, which is really powerful, or Firefly, who is really powerful, or whatever, but I just don't have the amount. I could probably reach 50-50 if I poured everything that I had into it, but I don't
Yeah.
really want to. Like, I haven't got. I'm every time I see any content on Firefly, I'm tempted freshly to pull for her, but I don't really have a team built up for it. I have only sort of partly built my Harmony Trailblazer. Like, she's not, ready to go prime time or anything like that. So, and building Firefly from scratch would be a huge amount of work as well, since humongously overvalues break effect compared to every other stat, so you have to build very specifically. So yeah, there's not really a lot of strong motivation for me to pull on this banner other than the hype, which is of course what they're counting on, right? That's how they get people to pull. It's very easy to become attached to Firefly because you spend a lot of time interacting with her in the story, but I can probably wait for a rerun. If she hangs about in the meta, I probably can wait for a rerun. The characters that are coming out next on the gacha don't particularly excite me either, though. So saving also feels a little bit fruitless right now. The next one is Yunli, who is physical destruction and seems to be built very similar in a variety of ways to other physical destruction character.
Y'all gonna
that
roll?
is
On that,
So that
I mean,
I can decipher my next map and figure out if we need to move.
if you just drop that on the ground, that'll be perfectly understandable.
7,000 gil. Charlotte Maltzman.
Is it that one? Really?
I don't actually have this orchestrion roll, so I'll use it.
Oh, there you go then. I've got Labyrinthos.
I have lost mine. Where is it? Here we go. I've got Labyrinthos.
We can go Labby. Mine is it's that goofy one that's way equally far away from both Aetherites.
Mine's right next to an Aetherite.
All right, we'll go to yours then.
But where was I? Yeah. So I am withholding my urge to roll right now. I don't know whether it'll last to the end of the banner or whether I'll give in. Sort of hard to say. There's a lot of building to be done on my current teams. But yeah, Yunli's going to be very similar to Clara in terms of structure by the looks. The impression I get is that she's from the leaks and that I've seen is that she's very counter-attack based and is sort of one of those destruction characters who taunts. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the approach is going to be there. I'm pretty chronically underinvested in physical right now, so it would make sense for me to get a character to fill that niche, but I don't really have a build for counterplay. That sort of it meshes loosely with things like Robin's buffs and maybe follow-up attack, depending on whether it classifies the counters as follow-up attacks that are triggered by being hit, or whether it classifies them separately as counters. So yeah, there's a lot that's not clear about that yet. The new Nihility character is pretty explicitly designed to as a commercial venture by Hoyo to try and deal with the situation that 4-star Gwenhyfen and 4-star Pella are both better than any 5-star alternative for what they do. And so they're basically making a 5-star character who doesn't do what they do exactly, but has the same net effect. So essentially, it looks like that character is going to be a Nihility fire character that lays down field effects that do dot damage, which is good. That fits with Acheron teams that need Pella or Gwenhyfen. Pella and Gwenhyfen both function largely on the basis of debuffs improving the damage of the rest of the group, whereas by contrast, this new character, rather than debuffing, supplies the damage via his personal damage instead. So it is a different approach. But yeah, sort of remains to be seen how it will work out in the end, because field effect damage 100% comes down to what numbers can he actually put out personally, because it's a personal damage thing. Other ones like Gwenhyfen and Pella are mainly force multipliers. What they do in and of themselves is not nearly as important. So yeah, that remains to be seen. But we don't know anything about the other characters that are going to be coming out in that chapter. So yeah, there's not really anything specific to save for. A lot of people are going to be saving for the new Nihility character because he will be a great addition to a lot of Acheron teams and will add a lot of supplementary damage. Because normally, if you want a Nihility character who does supplementary damage in an Acheron team, you're pretty much compelled to use Black Swan for that, or Gwynifen for that to some extent. Mainly Black Swan if you want 5-star supplementary damage. The thing is that if you're running 2 teams and one of them is an Acheron team and the other one is a dot team, you definitely need Black Swan in the dot team, which only leaves you with Gwynifen for supplementary damage plus debuff. So
I just
yeah,
can't get over the fact she looks like Kiara.
Gwynifen.
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not that's a mistake. I presume whether it's like a coincidence. I presume it is, but the fact that she's like a live streamer as her profession, well, that and a street performer, sort of makes me wonder.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
Maybe there's a Hololive fan somewhere in there.
in China, I don't think it's legal to be a Hololive fan.
I don't think it is anymore. 'Cause, yeah, that ended badly.
And never mind it. England. Oh no. Oh no, we gotta betray the right door.
You gotta just try it. We're doomed.
Or did they put an indicator down? Oh, they did.
You got a disco door.
We're sorry, right door.
But this
Forgive
one's
us.
too shiny.
Forgive us. The right door is going to remember that. You just see the text pop up. The right door will remember that.
But yeah, so there's a lot of. I think that is, if you're going to be doing, a power creep gacha the way Hoyo always does, changing the meta every 5 seconds is probably the best way to do it, because it just means that everybody is sort of like viable in some context, and you can't rapidly narrow down to one sort of flavor of the month approach. I don't think that any of the archetypes that they've introduced are ever going to be abandoned strictly. Like, if I was going to pick an archetype to abandon, it would definitely be Hypercarry. But you can't abandon Hypercarry as an archetype because it's a natural archetype. Like, it's one that just emerges by means of pure reason. Like, oh, well, there's always going to be some approach of picking a character who does damage that you like a lot and then just filling the group with characters that support them. And then that becomes Hypercarry. But like, there's no reason they would ever get rid of dot archetype, since the dot archetype is loosely do damage on your opponent's turn. The follow-up archetype is essentially do damage in between turns, and then you've got you've got other sort of minor archetypes like the double DPS and that. And Break Effect is the new one that they've introduced. It's highly compatible with characters like Boot Hill that have come out recently, but everybody does break damage if you build them for it. Although physical and fire are the strongest for that purpose. So,
oops. Oh well.
Nah.
I accidentally rolled green on it.
I rolled need because I need it. I don't have it.
You can have it then. I can give it to you. I've already got it.
Oh, you already got it?
I already got it.
Oh, come on.
Double dud.
This is what happens. We betrayed it.
We betrayed the right door, and now we suffer for it.
See if we're forgiven next time. It's a random number of times it takes to forgive.
It depends on just how the door is feeling this day.
Yeah, anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with my Jade. I'm going to have to try and hold on to it. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a struggle.
Now, eventually, they will release another dummy mommy for you.
I don't want more dummy mummies. They already released one anyway, because the other character for this cycle is Jade, who will be coming out in the next banner, and Jade is definitely for that demographic, and very specifically for that demographic, with the whip and the stiletto heels and the snake theme and
Of course she got a
the
snake theme.
the
Of course she does.
literal step on me ultimate animation. Yeah, it's very carefully calibrated for a certain type of person. And no mistake about that. Yeah, anyway. So I've got quite a bit of content there to chew through. Still have not started Swarm Disaster or Golden Gears aside from the tutorial. So there's a massive quantity of unattempted single player content for me in that game. The main reason I haven't dug into it properly is because I am still attempting to play Genshin at the same time. We're sort of gradually approaching the end of that arc for the time being. Because this week I finished Fontaine. So my Archon quests, as I understand it, are up to date now.
Okay, so we got Fontaine flushed.
Yes. I don't know what the answer to that question is.
But yeah. I don't know, Fern hasn't done it yet. But Fern is also
Yeah.
like a gazillion years out.
I am probably never going to get Fontaine because Genshin, it's fun and all, but it's like I've already got enough time sinks as it is.
The important question here is, do you think you will remember what we say if we were to spoil parts of the story now?
No, because it would be replaced by Nouvellette Grooven.
Yes.
Don't think, just Groove.
Okay, so your call, Paul, on how hard you want to spoil it.
I can talk. I think that there is a reasonable amount that I can just say in terms of generalities. Overall, I think that Fontaine was my favorite chapter. I liked it. Like I felt more affection for the chapter as a work than I did for Sumeru, and that's not because Sumeru is bad. It's because Fontaine was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. It does have a habit of grabbing you by the collar, sitting you down, and making you play, because it is very that in order to tell their set pieces, they're very keen on ring fencing you in and making you do things. I don't really mind that because I prefer linear RPGs generally. I want the story told to me because I don't want like the type of story that is told by, say, Elden Ring is anathema to me because I can't follow the thread of it.
Yeah, there's no following what goes on in Elden Ring. There's going to body video after you finish the game and going,
Yeah.
okay, what actually happens?
Generally, it's there is monster, go fight.
I mean, Vadi could just be making all this stuff up. It could be the greatest deception in the world for all I know.
He could be.
He could just be the world's biggest liar for all I know.
But there's no way of knowing.
But
as far as I can
nobody
tell,
would know.
The story of Elden Ring, as far as I can see, is literally try-finger butthole. Like,
I mean,
because
that
that's
could
what I
also be the
see written
story.
down more consistently than anything else in that game.
To become
So,
the
yeah.
Elden Lord, try finger butthole.
I like I mentioned last week. I really like the sort of the thematic structuring of Fontaine around judiciary. Basically, I feel like that it was a really good creative decision to make, was to take the land of justice and make everything that takes place in it revolve around judiciary. It just makes sense. It's they really realized the theme effectively, and there's an awful lot of sort of like lore and jank in there that there's a great deal to be explored still, because a lot of it doesn't make sense. And then, later on, when you talk to various characters after Fontaine, it revealed that, oh well, actually, Focalors isn't as clever as she thinks she is, and so on. And, all of this is gone. Everybody can see what she's actually doing if they're paying attention, and this is going to have implications here, there, and everywhere. They still, I feel generally that the main weakness of the main weakness in the writing to me, other than like the pacing does run up on the rocks occasionally, and that's mainly when you're in the big house, and which is something like Paimon adapts to posing as a con altogether too fast. But I guess that is what it is. But there are a few pacing issues there. Like I feel that there are parts of that sequence that drag on about 5% longer than they ought to, and I feel like the layout of the zone is a little bit too confusing. They don't make the individual tiers of the fortress quite distinctive enough from each other to remember exactly what was in each one very readily, especially if you're playing through it in one stretch slightly inebriated.
Oh, yeah, that would do it.
Because every room is shaped like a donut,
Yeah.
like all of them. There are no exceptions.
So the big house is the reason that I like Sumeru better than than Fontaine, because my experience with the big house was I did the side quest first because the game warned me about it. This was a mistake.
So I don't know what the side quest is because I haven't done it. Is it? Do you actually just spend a lot of time in there first or something?
Yeah, it assumes you have done the main story first, so I don't know why the main story even bothers to warn you about it. I don't know why it's an option to do it until you've done the main
It's very
story.
strange to me because they don't warn you for anything else. I think maybe it was an innovation they were trying at the time.
Yeah.
Like, warn you about what quests are going to be interfered with or whatever.
Yeah.
Because there's not a narrative reason why they should tell you that. No, so while I experienced it, the entire thing was new to me. Like, I've never been down there before. So along with Paimon and Traveler, I'm encountering this location for the first time and meeting all these people for the first time and experiencing life in the fortress for the first time. Like, it's all fresh. And it works really well. It does drag on a little bit long, but you could make the argument that spending time in prison should drag on.
They're going for authenticity here.
Paimon's really good at being in jail.
Yeah, alarmingly good. Like, to Paimon, it's just a vacation where the food is free. So, yeah. But, yeah, so I enjoyed pretty much everything in Fontaine. Every time I had some time to sit down and play some more story, I was happy to do it because it was good. I had other things to do, and I almost resented pausing to do my dailies because it was like, oh, you're breaking my immersion. Why are you doing this?
Somebody has not rolled on a Malacca Calapis cloth from one of the previous trivias, by the way.
Yes.
And there is nothing of value in that trivia.
There is nothing of value. I mean, there's no reason not to when you get a 2 like that.
Well, I thought that about the last 3 as well.
Yeah, but it's physically impossible to get anything lower than 2.
No, it is. You can get a 1.
Isn't it ace high or is it ace low?
Oh no, it's ace is low.
There are no aces. It's just a 1.
In that case, that's ace low.
No.
Oh no.
I would call it good there, Fern.
Yeah, I think I'm going to call it good after this. Fine. I'll take the hint.
Oh no.
Oh.
Low.
No.
Click the high button.
No.
I think we call it good there.
Pleasure.
Give us money.
Yeah, just money, please. I don't think blue zircons are actually used for
Me
anything.
money.
No, are they?
So yeah, I had a great time with that story. I felt like it was put together well. I feel like there's a lot of characters who are a bit like I don't know, like everybody is supposed to just sort of perpetually be in awe of what a cool guy Wriothesley is, and this doesn't strike me as being very realistic. Like he's probably my least favorite character, simply because his entire role in the plot is to be too cool for school in every scene.
And does he just turn around and fail at that dramatically?
They
No, he's just sort of generically successful at everything he does.
Okay.
he just punches stuff with his robot arm.
I mean, that's what robot arms are for.
I mean, it kind
I
of
don't-
if
It's
I
not a
didn't
robot
have
arm though. He just wears like robot fists when he's fighting. That's all.
yeah, if they did not have the event where I got to demo with him once, I wouldn't have liked him as much because he really was fun to play, and that left a positive impression for the character in my head.
I mean, he is fun to play. Yeah, I just got a bit tired of him having basically no depth. Like there are some characters who it's like they scream. You really need to have spent some time with this character first to see them as a person rather than a plot device, because he's just too good at what he does. Like it's hinted that he used to be a prisoner in the fortress, and he's just like he was such a cool guy that they made him nobility and put him in charge, and now he runs this perfect organization, and
This
everybody
is
loves him and is in awe of him, etc.
yeah, that's straying. Oh yeah, there we go. That's
Oh,
straying
heck yeah.
very close to original character Do Not Steal territory.
How'd you beat my
Yeah,
88?
he's just a little bit too cool, I think. And I don't mean that as a particularly weighty criticism. It was just the impression that I got of him was that, oh wow, I mean, you're just kind of laying it on a bit thick here, I feel.
Has the door forgiven us?
Yes, we're at the end.
The door has forgiven us.
I do not remember what the boss does.
I don't remember what any of them do either.
We're gonna wing it.
We're gonna win.
Depends on
wing
which
it.
boss we get. There's
Yeah.
a couple of different ones.
Oh, this one. He has donuts and not donuts.
Yeah,
That's all I
this guy's
remember.
the most straightforward.
It's not as helpful as you seem to believe it is.
I just that's all I remember is donuts and not donuts.
It's not like the flippy head where it's like stand in poop and don't stand in poop.
So
I'm gonna
is
run
this
away.
a point blank or a donut?
I want to run away. Okay, that's a not donut.
I don't know. It's kind of donut shaped. I guess everything's donut shaped when the ring around the boss is a donut.
Yes.
It overlaps with it, so everything looks donut-esque.
But yeah, the one thing of note about Fontaine is they skirted really close to making me not like Navia in the story. They got really, really close a few times, but they bonked her on the head enough that they pulled it out for me.
Yeah, they did skirt a little bit close at times to, making her a
Donut? I think that's donut.
slightly too Purity Sue sort of character.
Yeah, but they did manage to bonk her on the head enough times that they pulled it out for me in the end. I don't know about you, but the people die stone dead in her story and are not coming back.
Yeah, well, I think that if they had miracled them back into existence, and so she literally ended up losing nothing over the course of her trials, that would have been a deal breaker for me.
Yeah. But,
Because the only way her character arc makes any sense is if she has to rise above something traumatic as part of the process. Otherwise, there's not really any reason to regard it as her having matured at all as a character in that context. So yeah, I feel like they managed to walk that line relatively successfully, because in the early part of the story, she's just sort of like, I don't know, she's kind of always there and gets her way, and has is you're informed about her limited circumstances, and yet she doesn't seem to want for anything ever. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that is a bit Yeah, troublesome. Were we supposed to be moving at the time? Or
I
something?
assumed since it applied pyretic earlier that the that would be oh, that's a donut.
That was the donut.
I found the donut.
Yes, it was.
And it's dead.
But,
Yay! Treasure! Oi! Didn't know you could open that chest. It has...
That is the worst possible reward.
well, I mean, I don't have it, so
You want it? It's hang on. Oh,
Uh,
cannot execute while bound to a duty.
We've got to get out of here first. Okay. More importantly, money! Money!
It is a whopping 3K.
Yay.
Right door forgave us, but it wanted us to remember what happens when we troll it. So it gave us the cheapo reward.
so I was feeling slightly more sympathy toward Farina by the end of the story, but mostly I still think she's a girl failure.
She am dumb goober. Super dumb goober.
I mean,
Also, you
I
got
do, and I do think she's a girl failure, but I still want to throttle Focalors. Like, that is such that's such a light Yagami plan. Like,
Oh no.
you have dramatically overthought this whole circumstance.
So,
Like,
how about them female Archons? And how I was telling you, just wait till you see what they do in Fontaine.
it's just kind of dumb. Like, it's I suppose she's and from a certain point of view, I can see that it makes thematic sense because she's acting in a way that she thinks is more just in a certain sense. Like, she's trying to maintain a type of cosmic balance. The problem is she's the only one. Nobody else cares. It's not going to mean anything to anybody else because the problem that is established is that and like they hinted it at length in Sumeru, and they establish it pretty concretely in the chapter immediately following the resolution of the Fontaine situation, that the problem right now, more or less, is that the heavenly principles don't do jack. And everybody can see that Focalors is dicking around with them, but it doesn't matter. She didn't actually manage to conceal anything from anybody in the end. And, you know, like, because the Traveler sibling is totally aware of everything she was doing.
Yeah.
So it's clearly not been very well concealed.
Where you at, Fern?
I went to the next map at Thavnir.
Oh, we went to the next map in Garlemald.
I'll come to Garlemald then.
My map is also in Thavnir, so
We
we can go either way.
I am standing on top of
I've already flown so far after Aristeel.
No, we was not moving. I just like, oh, I'll just go to my map. But yeah. How about that the Great Nouvelette Flush?
The Great Nouvelette Flush.
The flushing that he performs.
He just makes it rain all the time.
So
the boss battle was jank.
oh yeah, it's hot garbage. You have like
I didn't understand anything that was going on. I don't know if it's the same when you fight it for real as opposed to during the story. But in the story, I didn't do any damage to it, and the boss fight just kind of ended.
You just kind of you annoy it enough to eat you, and then you punch the dude in his belly, and then you go outside and you punch the boss. Then you do it again. It is 100% jank. Like there's like 20 seconds of an interesting boss battle somewhere in there, inside of it, and then the rest of it is just hot garbage.
The music is nice, but that's about all it's got going for it.
Bit
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they seem to be really inconsistent with their bosses. Like they've had high highs in the past. Raiden Shogun is a great fight. The the boss in Sumeru is very well. Both of the bosses in Sumeru are kind of jank, but the one in the bog is just well, it's a bog fight. The one against the giant robot is like, well, I don't understand anything that's taking place here at all.
But
This is just madness. You didn't explain anything. I don't get it.
But at least it looks cool.
But I don't care,
Yes,
giant robot.
It looks cool. The problem is that you don't know what you're doing and you just tend to die a lot. Because nothing makes any sense. But yeah, I overall thought it was a very enjoyable chapter. It was extremely linear and therefore accessible. I liked most of the characters. I feel really bad for Seguin because her banner is going to be released on Farina Street, and I know where everybody's Primogems are going, and it's not to Seguin.
Each one is so fun. She's so dumb.
She's not dumb. You oversold that dramatically. She's just a bit weird because she's a Melusine and doesn't really understand human aesthetics at all. And doesn't realize that people will not find meat appetizing if it is blue.
That's just weird. Why is it blue? Why?
She's done things to it to make it more nutritious. And
But also blue.
She is probably right, it is more nutritious. However, she does not understand that having made it blue, it will no longer be appealing.
Yes.
I stand by.
I really should play Genshin because the Melusine do sound like just dumb.
They are adorable dumb.
They are definitely airheads. But mainly their issues is that they are in a perpetual state of learning how to act just human enough to get along in human society when they really don't get it. Like they're doing human things in order to coexist. They're not doing human things because they make any intrinsic sense to them.
They just do not understand.
But because like Seguin particularly takes an interest in studying humans, and it makes her a very good nurse. And she's very perceptive about what people are thinking in very discrete terms, but just doesn't understand aesthetics at all. So, yeah. But yeah, she's going to be coming out soon, and I pity her because she's going to be sharing a banner cycle with Farina, and everybody's going to want to roll on Farina instead. Because Farina's a powerful off-field hydro applicator in DPS, and Seguin is just a healer. Again.
Yeah. A cute, goofy healer, but that's it.
Who heals with healing bullets.
Yeah, because of course. Yeah.
Not dancing.
No. I mean, her enthusiasm for aggressively taking care of people is certainly endearing. But yeah, she's still a bit weird. But yeah, I liked the whole of Fontaine. It was great. It's just it's one of those chapters that you play and it's like, wow, I wish there was a replay main story mode so that I could experience this again later when it's starting to get a bit less well remembered. But yeah, I thought it was really great. The cooldown chapter that happens after it is a bit depressing. It's like, oh well, they get the twins, they get to reunite again, except not.
Because you can't have two travelers running around, I guess. That would just confuse people.
Well, there's a bunch of sort of memory meddling and reality bending and stuff, but yeah, ultimately it just redounds to nothing much changing in the end. Yeah. And so everybody just comes away from the experience feeling vaguely sad and not knowing why.
Thank you, Right Door.
Thank you, Right Door. You are good, right to us, Right Door.
That is not.
You make sure you appropriately praise the right door.
See, it's
You
thinking.
can't call us right door.
See, now it's just playing games with us.
It's just making us remember. You didn't praise it good enough, Fern.
No, I need to offer sacrifices. Hey, we got a fairy here. That'll do. We'll sacrifice the fairy.
I mean, I can. It's not going to accomplish very much.
It probably won't. No.
It'll just come back again. So, but yeah. So yeah, that was great. I've got a bunch of Primogems saved up, so I'll probably roll on Farina as well. But I'm a little bit salty about MiHoYo's decisions regarding the next character that's coming out, who they did in fact make her capable of doing off-field Dendro application, except they made her narrowly focused on the burning debuff, the burning reaction for Dendro, and nothing else.
Oh dear.
So basically, people are calling her the Dendro Nailu because there's essentially only one team that she functions in, which is, a burning team. You can't build other types of teams around her because all of her mechanics are based around Dendro burning. So you've got to build Dendro burning team. No other options.
Flexibility? What's that?
Yeah, it's a very strange decision to make, especially when there's such a paucity of Dendro characters and they are in dire need of more off-field Dendro characters, because nearly every Dendro character they come out with is an on-field character, even though Alhaitham has basically stolen the crown for that, and there's nobody's ever going to be better in that. So each time they release an on-field Dendro character, they're competing with a character who's already regarded as borderline overpowered. So there's not really any reason for them to keep doing that. But yeah, it's not that burning didn't need help. It did. The problem is that the characters that are helped by having a burning team would much rather be in another team usually. So it's not really useful in any meaningful way. Oh well, it is what it is. Anyway, I better end my week there because I've been dragging on quite a while.
Yeah. We can pad out a little bit before the break, and then that'll probably be about it for me for the show.
Yeah, we're actually past break time, but
the door is being nice to us, so we're not going to argue.
So I guess I can throw a bit of extra padding. With one thing that I didn't know where to cram it during the show. So you may have noticed in the past several weeks I've been complaining about a certain character in a certain fighting game.
A certain girl failure into a cake and her society donut.
Yes. Well, turns out this was a pretty clear thing. Because she is the first character in Granblue to warrant an emergency nerf.
Ooh, emergency nerfs.
Yes. There's a major tournament coming up. And they had to drop the emergency nerf. And it ain't a small one. We're talking like most problematic special move. All variants of it can now be air blocked.
Okay, I think you got to spin that one. Oh, that is the worst. And that's a freebie.
Rest my luck. Rest our luck, or do we?
Those cloths.
Well, yeah, I'm inclined to just go with this.
There we go. I can turn those into martial arts. So, yeah, you can now air block her most problematic move. All the damage on all her special moves got reduced between 20 and 30%. That's not a small amount in a fighting game where every attack scales. And oh, we get the boss again.
Yes. This should be. Oh no, it's the Sphinx again. Okay, that's fine.
Don't give us a stupid orchestrion roll.
Give us something worthwhile.
Exciting tonic. Exciting tonics are actually really cheap right now. If I get one, I might actually go just get the stupid Nephilim, because I bet they're gonna go up in price.
Almost certainly they'll go up quite a ways, I think.
I would not sell your exciting tonic right now.
No. I'm going to sit on it. Or possibly, depending on how cheap they are, maybe I'll just get the Heffalump.
Oh, we got the money bot.
Money bot! Beep, beep.
100,000 pyretic.
Yeah, too slow.
But we got 105,000 gil for that floor 5 money bot.
Burst is bombs. So yeah, you want one of those guys to turn up during the boss fight.
Vern, what happened to you?
We didn't stack, that's why.
In stack. So I got noped.
Oh, well, I had a stack marker. So if I'd have stacked, he would have died.
What? I think you've got an inverted idea about how stack markers work.
No, I had the stack marker on me.
Yes, and everybody takes the damage.
No, only if they are in the stack.
No. We manifestly both took half of our health and damage.
That is the only stack marker I've seen work like that. Where it does the raid damage if people don't stack inside the stack.
I'm only telling you what happened, man, because that's what happened.
Oh, that's donut. I mean,
There we go.
Trivial damage that time.
because I invulned it last time when I had the stack up marker. I'm like, oh, okay. Drop. Every other stack up marker.
That's okay. It's done anyway. Yay!
Exciting
Huh.
dynamite
That's
Are
new.
you excited?
is 5. He's more than the tonic. I got a 7.
Yay! Now, do I want to use it or do I want to sell it?
500. Oh wait, no, that's 1,000, not million. He's I thought it was 5 point something million. No, he's 500,000.
Oh,
I've
okay.
won one thing all day.
I get a small, orbiting, very grumpy rock.
So, a good thing that we made it to the bottom a couple times because I would have lost money otherwise.
Well, you haven't sold any of the crap in your inventory yet.
I didn't win any.
You won that one cloth.
One cloth. One.
Rockbox, yeah.
Turn it into something that's like 100k.
I have to spend 100k on other mats to do that.
Usually, unless
Except
it's
yes.
unless it's the Bayberry one, and even that Bayberry's getting cheap.
So what you're saying is I'm not going to make 100k.
Well, I don't-
Either it's getting cheaper or it's not. It can't both be getting cheaper and more expensive.
No.
You can't have both.
The let's see.
The materials cost goes down, so does the final product value.
No, because it's all the value is in the stupid. You're pretending that supply and demand makes sense when it comes to glam pieces. That is just not the way this works. I'm here to tell you.
That's exactly the drum that you've been banging the entire time we've been playing this expansion.
It's this well here when it comes to glam items, here's what I've learned. It doesn't matter. All that matters is how much of the actual final crafted product is on the auction house. The materials
It's called supply and demand.
the materials do not matter at all. The material cost for the miscellaneous junk. Because you just turned the cloth into the thing itself. But
There's going to be a huge supply of the materials to make it, though, because everybody's doing these things because of the Moogle thing.
yes, I meant the miscellaneous extra materials like the Bayberry cloth and stuff, not the stuff because I treat the cloths as the item itself.
Except that's the one that's the price of it is going down. The other things prices aren't going to go anywhere.
Yes,
In other words, it's getting more expensive.
But you
to
were
make.
talking about never mind. I'm not gonna.
You're trying to math right now and it's not working.
No, I thought he was talking about the materials and the miscellaneous pieces, not the one material that's exclusive to this.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you told me that I can't sell it for any money. I have to turn it into something first. That means it requires time or expenditure.
Yeah, but anyway, so what you call it? There ain't a whole lot else to talk about in terms of the news that I have this week.
There was the Nintendo thing. Actually, I'll give a really quick rundown of that.
Yeah, this one's unfortunately all you. So if you got to run, that's
All right. They've unveiled a stack of JRPGs.
Are they new ones, or is it just old ones again?
Famaji is a Pokemon-esque one. You've got Elantros Wanderings, and you've got one from the original creator of Final Fantasy. We have a Mario and Luigi. Yeah, we have a Mario and Luigi RPG for the first time in I don't even know how long now.
Was that one a sequel or a remake?
The Mario one.
Yeah,
it's brand new.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like the last one they've done.
Does it seem like it's worth getting excited about then? Because there's no proof of concept.
Well, the Mario and Luigi's franchise have been around for a while now, and they're usually a lot of fun.
Yeah,
if it's been around for a while and it's been totally fallow for years, then that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, this is Nintendo though. They'll sit on a franchise and do absolutely nothing with it for years for no reason.
I remember people liking the Mario and Luigi, like Bowser's Inside Story and stuff on the DS. Was it on the OG DS?
It was on the DS.
Or was it on the 3DS?
And then you had Dream. The original Bowser's Inside Story was on the 3D on the DS, and then they ported it through 3DS later. They did a remake.
I remember not liking this one.
I liked Bowser's Inside Story. That was all right.
I just need to remind you people of something. The DS was 20 years ago. You know that, right?
No.
Why?
This is why I'm saying these franchises are lying fallow. You can't infer something that happened 20 years ago is going to result in quality now.
Nah.
But
so we'll see what happens. I'm interested in that one. We'll see what they do with it. Other stuff, and probably what the big highlight for me is they are doing a HD remake or remaster of the Miles Edgeworth games. Both of them.
Well, yeah, I don't even think we got an official translation for the first one. I think that was a fan translation.
We got an official one for the first one, but not the second.
Okay, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can actually finally properly play the Miles Edgeworth games.
All this.
I think the first one only got a limited release or something, didn't it? It wasn't much.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was a GBA game.
Yeah.
Like we're not even at DS. We're now before DS.
Yep.
So, I mean, cool. It's a bit late. My hype for Ace Attorney, when it was at its peak, right before Dual Destinies, and right around the time I finished that game, maybe this would have been a bit bigger deal for me to finally get to play these games. But we're like a decade too late.
Yeah. I'm still wondering if there's going to be a third entry for the well, there is going to be a third entry for the Great Ace Attorney, but I have no idea when that's going to come to the West. Because I actually really like that. What else did we get? We got a new Mario Party announced because end of console life. It's Mario Party time.
In case anybody hasn't destroyed their controllers yet.
Yep. This is how you destroy your console: is you buy Mario
And
Party
any
and you throw it out
friendships
the
that you
window.
might have made.
Yes. And now they've got an even bigger roster of playable characters for you to hate. Enjoy. At least it doesn't look like it's got that ridiculous train mechanic I think the last one had. Everyone's kind of doing their own
already had
thing.
enough problems.
Yeah.
I've noticed a
We-
trend with people that play the Mario Parts, and that they're all playing Mario Party 1 through 3 on that little remaster collection.
Mm-hmm.
They're not playing the current ones.
Well, it's because everybody who likes Mario Party is old and nostalgic.
Yeah. And a lot of the new ones do have really stupid mechanics or something that just gets annoying more than anything else.
Well, I think it does come down to nostalgia, right? Because the thing about Mario Party is you can't release a new Mario Party and have it be popular. And the reason why you can't release a Mario Party and have it be popular is that nobody goes to anybody's house anymore.
Yeah. This one does have
That's-
online play.
That who cares? That's not not what
Doesn't matter.
Mario Party is for. That's not the purpose. The purpose of Mario Party is to have somebody with an easy punching distance while you play. And that doesn't happen anymore. Like
No.
there is a hard deadline in the ground which was drawn by COVID and was already going in that direction where people don't go to other people's houses anymore. And Mario Party existed. It's called Mario Party because you're supposed to play it as a party game. It's not
Mhm.
It's not played Mario Party because you're supposed to play it with strangers online across the other side of the world.
I'm just going to quickly bang through the rest of this stuff because time. We're getting HD re-releases of Dragon Quest 1 and 2. We've known about those for a while. You're getting the 64 version of the original Perfect Dark and Turok being put through onto the Nintendo Online thingamy. And a new Zelda game where you play as Zelda, so they should have called it Legend of Link. But anyway. Yeah, Link is the one who's been kidnapped this time, so Zelda's actually out and doing stuff.
It is very, very easy to read into that. But the thing is, when it comes to Nintendo, I just think that they just want to put some more brand recognition on a character.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see it necessarily as a bad idea because Link and Zelda do have completely different skill sets, I guess. So Zelda, this one looks more like it plays as a puzzle game.
Well, they're supposed to. Whether or
They
not it
are.
will actually play out in the end, it's hard to say. After all, remember, Nintendo did start hiring blue hairs for their Metroid team.
Yeah, and apparently they fired the main one. Speaking of Metroid, Prime 4 actually has a release window now.
Yeah.
Next year sometime. That's it. Next year.
Blue hair working on that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not going to dig down that rabbit hole because we could be here all day. But yeah, there was a blue hair who got sacked on that team. And let's see, last game to note is the 100 Line. It's by the Dangly Rumpus game, guys.
Yeah.
It's visual novel type thingy again.
I am worried whenever I see Uchikoshi's name beside Kadaka's now. I used to not think anything of it, but Uchikoshi has he's gone and jumped headfirst into the woke train
Oh no.
and just fully embraced it. Like, I mean, a full 4-minute monologue in AI the Somnian Files about how wonderful gay people are.
But why though?
Like,
Hey,
Kadaka.
look at his fandoms. Look
Yeah.
at the Dingle Rumpus fandom.
Well, that's Kadaka. Kadaka doesn't care and actively will still make fun of him. But Uchikoshi has just embraced the woke completely, and his writing is suffering bad for it.
Well, he's not trying to write anymore. He's just trying to lecture. nobody has ever played a video game for the purpose of being sermonized at.
Yeah. Anywho, we should take a break because I need to start tapping out.
Yep. I am almost done cleaning out my inventory.
I have 8 slots left in my inventory.
All right. Here's some. Well, I was gonna play some music, folks, but I have very definitely tagging copyright on my history now, and that's not gonna work out. So,
Oh,
okay. I'm gonna put it on the break screen, and we'll be right back. And we're back. And unfortunately, there ain't a whole lot to talk about.
It's been one of those weeks.
I am hopping around to Google. So there's one minor thing that people have been talking about that I've been dodging, although don't really know why I'm dodging it because I have no intention of playing any of it until I hear back from it. And I know you and Fern and Ibu aren't gonna go like report back to me. None of y'all are gonna try it. But you got Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance came out. I used to bag on SMT4 a lot until I played SMT5, and then I took it all back. I'm sorry, SMT4. I was too hard on you. You have some really, really dumb plot decisions, some really, really, really dumb designs with your boy Lucy and his baby arm. But you're not SMT5, which just has literally nothing. Literally nothing happens. I can't tell you the story because there isn't one.
Well, that's encouraging.
It is just a dreadful, terrible game that the longer time goes by, the worse it sits with me. There is no deeper readings, no stopping to think about things like Nocturne. It's a nothing video game. So, they put
How
out.
did that happen? Like, they don't phone it in. So how did they manage to screw it up so badly? Like, it seems a little bit ridiculous, really.
This seems the victim of a lot of Atlas RPGs, and why I'm not super hyped for the new one. I'm willing to give the new RPG a shot, but it's got the same problem as Persona 5 did, where it just got stuck in dev hell and got rewrites all over the place. And by the time somebody finally came down and said, "Okay, you've got to put something out right now," it had just been, I guess, scrambled enough through dev hell that they just crapped out whatever they had. So they've got a new version out with a brand new story route that apparently rewrites the entire story if you do it. Which is probably a good thing because there wasn't a story in the other routes. But I'm not going to go try and mess with it because SMT5 left such a bad taste in my mouth. Somebody else is going to have to personally come back to me first and tell me if it's good or not. So if you happen to be somebody that plays those type of games and you want to tell me if SMT5 is now not hot garbage, feel free. I will happily listen to you. But until somebody does such a thing, I don't plan on touching it. So that's one bit of good news that isn't Nintendo related. Well, it is Nintendo related. Also, they finally are just bringing it to PC, I think, which will help. Because that was yet another problem with SMT5. Was it ran like hot garbage on the Switch. I don't know who okayed a 12 FPS game, but they need to be fired. And all the reviews just glossed over this because apparently Atlas just shoved enough money up their butts that they did not care.
This really sounds like that they really just didn't. Somebody there has just decided it's not important anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know if they've come to some curious conclusion that they don't really need to make SMT anymore, and they're just, well, we should keep the IP alive, so I guess we'll crap something out.
go through the motions, phone it in. Yeah.
They historically they haven't phoned it in. Historically, they've always put sometimes misguided amounts of effort in, but to actually just make a pile of crap for no real reason, like, oh, it's just bad this time, I guess. So how do you arrive there?
Yeah, like SMT4 is a victim of overwriting and overdesign, where a lot of crap wound up on the cutting room floor because the guy was so ambitious with what he wanted to do, but he was clearly passionate about it at least. SMT5, I don't get that impression at all. I get the feeling they literally didn't have a clue what they were doing.
I don't know. I've sort of had all enthusiasm for Shin Megami Tensei more or less shot in the back of the head by Persona 5, because Persona 5 was a demonstration to me that no matter how much like visual and auditory panache you've got, if you're a millennial, you write a shitty millennial story.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and defend SMT5's story at all, but or not SMT5 Persona 5 story at all, but
Yeah, I don't expect anybody to defend it, but the weird thing is the people do. that's the confusing part.
like I at least think that game had some passion put into it as far as its design goes, with its characters and its personas and the UI and its presentation in general. Like, it clearly had some passionate parts to it that people were really excited to put together. SMT5 is just the most soulless thing you've ever seen in your life. Like, they have just completely just fallen off the wagon. Oh yeah. That's the thing. I'm trying to juggle stuff on my desk, and this involves me using my mouth. But yeah, not excited for this. Even though, I used to love SMT. I used to love Persona. It's sad. Just you wait. One day Nasu's gonna get so drunk that he has to start crapping out terrible fate stuff. So it's gonna happen. Hopefully not, but it seems to be the way of things these days.
I don't know if his work ethic is good enough for that.
That's true. He just
Like,
has all the money now.
He doesn't put out enough volume for him to really do anything terribly bad.
Speaking of, when's the next chapter of the Shikihime remake supposed to come out?
Another 10, 20 years, I guess.
How long it took the first one, I guess.
You got your gosh darn whatchamacallit, Mihoyo in English. You should be done for another 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, that's it took him what, 15, almost 20?
That was a
Oh,
long time.
yes. So yeah, I still haven't played it, by the way, because it's just too much stuff to play right now. Sitting there, it's installed, but yeah. So there ain't a whole lot else, because we're in a wacky news situation here where there are news articles here. If I quickly flip through them, I can even see some that might even be in our wheelhouse. But because we're both trying to dodge spoilers, or we're trying to dodge spoilers last week, we just don't have any in the list. Because I didn't want Elden Ring spoiled, and still don't want it spoiled, and probably won't be able to really chew into the DLC till somewhere in the middle of next week. And we got Dawn Trail coming up that's going to keep us out of spoiler land. And yeah, it's hard to follow the news when you're trying to dodge spoilers.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not, even if you factor that out, there's not really much to talk about, I don't think. Like most of the stuff that I saw gaming related was like over the past couple days, since I've gradually re-engaged with news again after finishing Penacony, is that people have been moaning or laughing at the new Dungeons and Dragons sourcebook art.
Oh, I missed this.
It's really how do I explain? Like everything, all of the art has just been sort of given a subtle woke makeover.
Oh, we got like dreadlocks on all the elves now.
Well, I think they just made all the elves black for starters, and not drow black. You've got Basically, any there are no martial male characters anymore. That doesn't exist. All of the dwarves are gay. Like that, everything. All of the orcs now look like Hispanic twinks.
What?
None of the orcs look remotely like orcs anymore.
What?
I don't know what to tell you, man. It's hard to describe because none of it resembles Dungeons and Dragons Classic anymore. Like all of the artwork has been explicitly aimed at wokeifying it. Like the artwork is designed sort of as an augmentation to imagination, and they have set it up in such a way as to replace people's traditional impressions with impressions that lead you to believe that everything is LGBTQWIXUVZBBQ, like whatever.
YXWVUT.
And it's just like everything about it looks really fake. Like you can't be inspired by anything that you see. It's not possible.
You know, I could sit here now that Fern's not here and go on a tangent about how some people take Trifinger Butthole a bit too literally instead of as a joke. But
I mean, everybody laughed at that. What was it? Extra credits? The orc thing?
oh, you didn't ask for this? No, that's the other thing. That was the Nazi one. What was the orc one? I know the one you're talking about. The orcs are black people one?
Yeah. Regardless of where it came from, it had a real profound effect on Wizards of the Coast. Like they took it 100% seriously, and we are where we are now because of that. Because of that specifically, that is how we got here. They saw that and believed it in their very bones, and made it their mission from then on to read their own, and I know it's sort of gauche to say the left are the real racists, but the reality is that they read into it all of their racist stereotypes and presuppositions that they carry around with them because they are all unbelievably racist, and projected that on other people as, oh, other people might see this, other people might see that. The reason why I can think that other people can see this, I can see that, notwithstanding, we better make sure we leech any life out of these things because of those impressions. And so now we are where we are, where orcs don't look like orcs, and basically nothing is in its original place. Like they've got like the cleric is in a wheelchair.
What?
I don't know if it's actually a cleric because that's what I saw people saying they were, but I was just sort of like flicking through. But
How's he gonna get in range to heal the party? Are all the
I don't
battle
know.
arenas wheelchair accessible?
Well, I mean, if you look at like all of the female warriors are like obviously holding their weapon wrong in a way that you couldn't possibly use it. They're all like dynamic action shots of them swinging their two-handed maul or whatever, but like they're holding it in such a way that you would not be managing to hit with the business end.
Yeah. Oh, so you got like your weird
It's,
wrist twists and that kind of stuff.
that's way subtler than what they actually did. Like you're imagining something way more competent than what they actually managed. But the reality is that they look like the stereotype of a woman trying to wield a weapon who has no idea what they're doing. That they've managed to accomplish the precise opposite in their artwork of what they were trying to do.
You know,
The whole thing is incredibly comical, were it not the absolute destruction of a part of geek subculture that we were observing.
you know, it used to be it was fine to have, a sword. You could do a sword swing coming out of, one of the three traditional stances. Like you have your standard guard, your fool's guard, and your wrath guard, which are, high, medium, and low guard. And any swing out of those will look fine as a dynamic action shot. and will work for any frame on any character model. How do you screw that up?
Well, the objective was not to make an action shot. The objective was to send a political message. And that political message is we're in control now.
Oh, it's a mess. I just every time we wind up on this topic, it feels like it's worth mentioning, but I don't have anything ever really. I feel like we've said everything about it.
Well, I mean, the purpose of mentioning these things is so that people know not to put money there.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're going to teach them a lesson with your wallet. That's not how this works. You just need to make sure they stop existing.
Yeah.
The only worthy punishment is complete eradication.
Unfortunately for people, you need somebody with the creativity and the time, mostly the time, to sit down and work on something, either homebrew or to dig through a system that everybody won't know and pull it out in a way that everybody can sit down and learn it these days. And just it's like talking people into breaking WoW as a habit.
You can talk people into that.
No. Something bad usually has to happen.
Yeah, like my experience with that is that people only quit WoW when they come to that decision on their own.
Yeah, it's real hard to break tabletop groups out of that are stuck in D&D mode out of D. They ain't gonna change unless some circumstance forces change. But
Well, I mean, there was a day where it was a good product, at minimum as a gateway drug, but that's just not the world we live in anymore.
oh goodness.
And it's not like anything like there are. You can make coherent arguments for like the casualification of the rules or the WoWification of the rules or whatever particular position you want to take on the matter. But what renders it unsalvageable is not really changes to the rules; it's the motivation behind them, and the motivation behind them is to eliminate the selectivity of the hobby, like to eliminate the necessity for enthusiasm.
It's
To render the hobby a thing that you can participate in without really caring about it.
yeah. Like if it's a rules problem or a mechanical problem, even a semi-competent DM can take a hammer to them and knock out a few of the problems and twist a few of them into something competent. If there's some mechanic that your group just doesn't jive with, or some part of it that's just really really dumb, it's not that hard to just kind of beat on the rules a little bit until it takes a session or two tops. The problem when they change stuff like the character designs in the source books, they may be like if you're at the age when I bought my first source, got the 3.0 3.5 source book. That was that the drawings and the designs and the stuff inside those things and the miniatures the sample miniature kits they come with, all that stuff is going to go into your inspiration for your first sets of characters and color the rest of your DM tabletop and adventure as long as you're in a setting vaguely similar to Dungeons and Dragons. And when you just kind of bland wokeify it, I don't see that as being nearly as fun or interesting of a hobby, regardless of where you fall in the political spectrum of things.
Well, I mean, that was never a priority, like, because this is not about that. People seem to be under the misapprehension that, oh, well, the objective is to wokeify the hobby. No. The objective is not to wokeify the hobby. They don't care about the hobby. Their objective is a show of power to make you realize that you aren't in control here. What they want you to think is that you need to get with the program. Everybody else believes this, therefore you need to believe it too. The hobby is of zero concern to them. They've never given it any thought. They don't think that that Dungeons and Dragons will be better this way, they don't think about Dungeons and Dragons at all. They think about the message of domination that they are sending. They are trying to say, we control this space, and you can't be here unless you agree with us.
Yeah, I'm thinking more on the consumer end. Like as that new purchaser picking these things up at the age I did. Like, why would you want to keep sticking around with this when it's just got the same type of aesthetic and way of doing things as every other piece of media out?
Well, I mean, if people aren't aware of any alternatives, they're not going to react in that way. Because that's what the cultural hegemony is about. You want to eliminate the presence of any alternative.
Oh boy, we need. Unfortunately, we only see surges in the alternative stuff once Blizzard, not Blizzard, well Blizzard too, but once Wizards steps in it. So while this sounds like them stepping in it a little bit, it doesn't. It has not penetrated the news enough because other video games are taking the news, or video games are eating it, I guess, for it to cause another blow up. Maybe they'll make another gigantic blow up like the open license agreement explosion.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it most often comes a cropper regardless. Like the whole blow up over 40k, for instance, when they did the Custodes thing. The independent thing that people decided to latch onto as the 40k alternative was entirely controlled by people who are even more woke than Games Workshop. You
Yeah.
simply weren't able to tell from the surface appearance of it, but then when people dug a little bit deeper, they found out that it was actually way more contaminated. Not because they had injected anything into the game, because they had more or less managed to keep it at arm's length, although the deeper you dug, the more you found things that suggest a certain amount of deviance was involved in the people doing the design. But the main issue with it was that the people in charge of that product were hell-bent on maintaining absolute control over who was allowed to be in, quote, their community, unquote. Like, their gatekeeping was, they had already decided their gatekeeping was going to be effective as the gatekeeping that we always should have been maintaining, except they hold the reins now.
Yeah, this is a shoe with 40k. 40k is another obstacle to overcome, and that as an IP, if it gets taken, the thing the 40k people don't want to lose isn't wargaming or something. It's 40k itself.
Yeah, the IP means a lot to a lot of people. The weight of it exists within that universe. You can't replace it with something similar because of it's basically been around so long and developed so much of its sort of intrinsic character that it's very hard to come up with a substitute that rings true. And people have attempted to do so, but it never quite sticks because of the sort of the gravity that 40k has built up over the years. But it's sort of hard. It was never really been guarded as well as it should have been, because most people can't really see a way in which it can be logically corrupted. The problem is that logic never entered into the equation. They assumed that it would. It did not. It was not necessary for it to make sense. They are just willing to overwrite reality by force of will. That's enough for them. They don't really care about anything beyond that.
There is somebody in the neighborhood.
I'm still selling things from my inventory.
Oh no, they fled. I've had this streak of people. I will see somebody in the neighborhood and I will go run up to say hello, and they will have already fled by the time I get up to them.
You're just that scary.
My kitty only glows a little bit. It gets stripes.
Cats aren't supposed to glow.
But yeah. Ah,
I
yeah.
think that the problem with all of these products is that in a sense they can't be saved. There's something sort of like when these things are isolated from the rest of the sort of the world balanced worldview and lifestyle that is a necessity for things like tabletop to occupy a proper and healthy place as opposed to becoming a toxic preoccupation. Like the culture doesn't accommodate that rest of life properly anymore. So any sort of consumer product can't be positioned in a healthy location anymore because everything in our modern society is all consume product oriented. So ultimately, it just looks like all of this stuff has to die. It has to die a natural death and then be rebuilt from the ground up in an absence of anything else. No matter how much affection you might have for tabletop generally, I think that as long as the rest of the culture is the way it is, you simply can't create a healthy alternative. It's not going to exist because the natural inclination is for obsessives and culture warriors to colonize it.
Yeah.
And you simply can't gatekeep it hard enough. It's not possible. Not anything that will reach a certain scale will get destroyed. It's a guaranteed outcome. There is no way to reverse it once it starts, and there's no way to guarantee it won't happen. You will hit a threshold at which point your product is doomed.
There, as far as a medium itself, like tabletop, for instance, particular is in a unique position. But there is a huge, uh, bold about 7 points in font bigger than the actual text itself, asterisk attached to it, and that you can homebrew just the whole dang thing. After you've played enough and you get an idea for how the systems work, if you can find something like the Fudge of Fate rule set or something as a baseline and just build everything from the universe to the rule set up from a very small baseline, you can do that. It is technically an option. There are the big problem with that is you got to find somebody that doesn't have a life do it, and they have to not be consumed by the culture around you and be actively looking for you and a few others to play.
Well, I mean, you also have to not commercialize it. Like that's really the issue here, is that all of these things were homebrewed originally. All of these systems,
Yeah,
none of them were synthesized to be a product from the word go. They were all commercializations of something that existed somewhere else. Like the only way in which you can meaningfully create these pastimes in the way that they formerly existed is to do it de novo without influence of any of these other things and keep it there. Like this is the game that you play in your group with your friends, and you don't let them bring their girlfriend along because that's the end. That's where it ends. As soon as somebody who isn't part of the founding group comes in, it's doomed. End of story. This is just the way that it has played out every single time in every single group around the world. Is that there you have the founders and they're keen, and then they bring along a friend who is less keen, and then it gets diluted, and then that friend brings along their girlfriend, and then their girlfriend brings along their friend, and at that point, nobody left involved cares anything about the original experience. This is
the
always the way. It's always been the way. This is a well-known phenomenon, and everybody has experienced it.
everybody has been in a guild where the GM brought their girlfriend. But so yeah, it's it is unfortunate that things are the way this way. But hey, if you got the time in a friend group that's inclined for it, go for it. I did it once, one time, singular, and did not quite get the rules ironed out as well as I wanted to, even in that time. And I have tried to get the refinements done and think about starting something up, but basically, it's a whole lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think I'm not saying that it's worth encouraging people to do, because it's only worth encouraging people to do if you have, like, I don't think that it's really worthwhile doing as a project for one person necessarily. Like, it's something that you might as well. Like, eh, I think that you need not do it according to, you know, the traditionally commercialized model of it. You can just do your corporate storytelling in any other way if you want to. It's not. It doesn't necessarily have to be an aping of a product in order to be successful. Because the thing you've got to keep in mind is that if you're doing systems development, there's something intrinsically genericizing about that. If you're starting out with the assumption that strangers are going to play your game, you've already made a mistake.
Yeah.
Because the only reason to do that is if you're going to bring in those people who are going to devalue your creation. That's the whole reason that you create things in a hyper accessible way. Your only concern should be to keep the experience flowing for people who you already know. So, I mean, it's not there's not any strong value to systems anymore. I don't think. Like, there's not really all of the rules fluff is really falling by the wayside now. Like, I can understand the people who are really keen on playing D&D the board game in accordance with, you know, the first or second edition, because you are literally playing a competitive board game in some ways. Like, you are trying to find you're competing not so much with the DM as with your teammates to come up with the most absolutely batshit thing that you can come up with within the framework that you've been given. But that's a very niche play style, and the reason why it continues to exist is because nobody wants to dilute it, because only autists play it. So,
Yeah.
and it exists in a space that is near enough to similar similar sort of magnets for people who would want to dilute the original product, that the autists can continue to exist there. But that's something that happens accidentally as bottled lightning, and it's probably a limited time phenomenon anyway. But as far as systems go, I don't think that they have any value anymore, because I don't really feel like there's any sort of valuable demographic to introduce to a thing. The way the culture is now, people don't have the attention span for that anyway, especially the next generation who have had their brains completely fried by TikTok. Like, anything that doesn't come in a digestible TikTok form is probably inconceivable to them, which I guess is why, like, the generation succeeding us, like the Zoomer generation, have more or less completely replaced D&D. Like, proportionally speaking, their audience has more or less replaced D&D with watching D&D.
Well, they've done this
Which
with
is-
video games as well too.
Well, yeah. Well, this is why there's nobody to defend these products, right? There's nobody to gatekeep them, because there's nobody to gatekeep them against. Like, if the battle lines were obvious, people would fight the battle. But the reality is that the battle now takes place in the realm of optics. Like, you're not actually fighting over a product, you're fighting over how a product is perceived. And when it comes to manipulating perceptions, the Wokarati have been doing it for years. It's their meat and potatoes, their entire scam. Whereas the other people who were involved in the hobby were concerned about the hobby itself, not in projecting the message. So they don't really know what they're doing. They don't know how to defend it. It's never been necessary before.
Yeah. I have talked to some Zoomers occasionally, and it hurts my brain trying to engage them in conversation, because they just don't see any value in doing anything.
Well, everything gets served to them. There's not you can't, and you know, the way this is sort of like the sort of the luxury problem of modern society is that everything can be served to you. There's nothing that people want in material terms that can't just be given to them, that you can't just purchase in one way or another. People don't have, like, you know, any kind of self-development as their goal. Like, if you look at, like, the employment market, for instance, everybody basically is aimed at mediocrity, because the idea that you could, advance by self-development of some kind, by building your skill set, is just ridiculous to most people. As somebody who's been a hiring manager for a couple of years now, and watched staff come and go, I have met one, maybe two people who have come through as in my time, who were at all interested in developing their skills as a means to advancement. Literally everybody else intends to advance their career just by job hopping. They have no intention of getting better at their job. That never even occurred to them.
Yeah, I know. When I talk to the Zoomers, I either get discussion or responses from them that are about what they watched somebody else do, or when it's about video games, it's about I was playing Fortnite, and it's still Fortnite. Years and years after Fortnite is, you would have expected it to be moved on to. No. Still in Fortnite land. And I don't know about you, but as a video gamer with a hard gamer, who actually, enjoys playing video games and developing some level of mastery, the Battle Royale version of video gaming is just the antithesis to everything I enjoy in a video game, especially when it comes to multiplayer games playing with friends. But they all queue up and play together. And when they are out, they just sit there and do nothing or watch their other friends play. I'm like, it was literally any other type of video game. We could just, I could at least keep playing and keep getting better, or we could just go to the next match. No. When somebody in their friend group is out, they either go back to the menu and do literally nothing while they wait on all their friends to get out, or they spectate their friends and do nothing.
I guess I've never participated in this type of game before, so the whole concept is alien to me. Like, I only have the loosest idea of how they even work.
Yeah, so it's like you queue up. It's still everybody v everybody in these battle royale games, and so when you die, your options are go back to the main menu or spectate your friends until they die. But this can take forever, so you're not spending the majority of your time in these games, especially while you're still learning, actually playing the video game. I don't know about you, but if I play a video game, right now I'm sitting here water floating in first person watching the windmills for the camera. But usually when I'm in a video game, I'm there to play the video game because I enjoy the act of playing the video game, of accomplishing something, no matter how small, of building my skills at it, or maybe I just really want to explore or do something, or just like the feel of pushing the buttons. Sometimes I just want to do some combos on Dante. I may not be getting any better at whatever I'm doing. It may be comfort food, but at least I'm pushing the buttons. In Battle Royale games, you don't do that!
This is all sort of news to me because I've never participated in this content before. So I'm just sort of a bit mystified as to what the fun part is supposed to be.
Exactly. I don't get it either. This is the part that drives me up the wall the most about Zoomers. Is they're not only do they prefer to watch people play instead of actually playing games, but when they do play games, it is a form of video game in a subgenre where they don't have to actively play for 90% of the game time.
What are they doing with the rest of their time, though?
Sitting there, I don't know. I don't know, but they insist this is fun. Every single time I've tried. Yes.
Do they say that it's fun? I mean,
they certainly keep going back to it like it's fun anyway, and talk to me about.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Are you inferring that they must find it fun because they're behaving in a way that you would behave towards something that was fun, or are they do they actually say that it's fun? Because there's a big difference there. Because one of those behaviors can be generated simply by habituation, regardless of how you feel about the activity.
I suppose so, but it just, if I didn't like a video game, I would just move on to a different video game.
But the thing is that there's no reason to believe that they started playing that video game because they liked it. They could just be playing because it's the done thing, or because they know somebody who is an influencer who plays it.
Yes.
Like, oh, there's this guy I watched on Twitch who plays this game, and I think that he's a cool guy. So in order to be cool, I have to be seen here as well. And since all my friends are thinking the same way, I can't be the first one to stop clapping or Stalin will execute me.
Oh, I am currently envisioning some blue-haired streamer like Ninja having the Gestapo outside their houses. But no, I don't remember exactly the wording they used to describe it, but they all talk about it as though they with a tone that suggests enjoyment.
The thing is, I think that there's a whole lot of cultural presuppositions built in here that might simply not hold. Like, we don't know if when we talk about something being fun or not, it's sort of like a visceral, intangible that's associated with the joy that one derives from mastery. Like that's what play was originally all about, right? Like play was competitive by definition for males. Females is a little bit different. I can't really speak to that experience at all. But for males, play is about competition fundamentally. Like, what can you're not necessarily competing against somebody else, but you're always competing. You're always traditionally attempting to master something, to develop a skill set of some kind without regards to in what context that might or might not be valuable. You're still attempting to develop and master something, not tread water. And enjoyment comes out of the feeling of satisfaction that you get from doing that. We don't know that when Azuma says something is fun, that's what they mean. Because like I said, the idea of developing oneself as a means to an end is alien to the current generation that are coming up. It doesn't even occur to them. Their definition of fun usually seems to coincide more with I was distracted from my responsibilities enough not to have to think about them for this period of time. It does not actually contain the feeling of genuine enjoyment embedded within it.
To wrap on this discussion, because we're off in the weeds on. I get the feeling we're going to wind up in circles trying to understand the Zoomers.
This is what you do when you get old, though. This is the prerogative of the aging.
This is our lawn. Back in our day, we had to walk uphill both ways in the snow, learn how to Royal Guard within 2 frames instead of your 5.
See, that's even that cultural supposition is incorrect. Like it's not like oh well, it was harder for us than it is for you. It's like the idea that you should need to develop your ability to do Royal Guard to begin with is just completely alien. Like, why would I do that? I can just play a game where Royal Guard is automatic.
Yeah, I know. I understand what you're building at, but my lack of remembrance of their exact wording is gonna cut into this discussion a bit because I'm the only one that's had interactions with Zoomers. But it just
Well, I
my
don't
point.
know. When does the Zoomer period start? Like, because I am like some of the younger people I employ are like 23, 24 now. I don't know if that's
When I think of Zoomer, I think of someone like in the 12 to 25.
Yeah, but you've been thinking that they're in the 12 to 25 bracket for the last 10 years.
Oh, please don't. No, because that would have made me a Zoomer at the tail end of it. I'm definitely not a Zoomer. I'm unfortunately roped into millennial, although I fall in that weird bracket that had a life both on and off the internet. Yeah, it's a weird one with the zooms. Gen Alpha is going to be interesting when they get a bit older and start to solidify what they like to do. Or I think that's what they call the kittens. They're coming up after the zoom.
I don't know who gets to decide these things.
I don't think. I think somebody writes a paper on it and they just kind of throw a dart at a dartboard for which paper they go with that day for when the next generation starts. But yeah, my heels have little colored
That's
toes.
gross.
Well, they're not toe toes, but like where the toes meet in the on high heels. They have that part colored and once match the straps. But yes. So yeah. We've but we're just kind of rambling. We're at almost 2 o'clock in the morning.
All right.
All right. I will. There. All right. You got anything else for us in this out?
So last comment on Penacony. They did a huge marketing push just before Penacony on the Annihilation Gang. Penacony is now over. No one from the Annihilation Gang appeared.
I see. Aha is still the best Aeon, and I am very happy that he rickrolled you at the end. Made me very happy. I'm not.
think he is.
I've not even experienced any bit of Star Rail's story where any of the Aeons are involved or have any clue really beyond what you've told me of their context. However, Aha is the correct choice every single time, and every single time you send me something about him, this decision is only solidified further. Right. Okay, folks. We will see you next week. I should have more solid thoughts on the Elden Ring DLC and be able to go into it. I was hoping I would have some this week, but it just didn't pan out that way. I didn't talk about it this week because Fern had to go. But work has been very, very busy for me the past week. But it has literally paid off finally. All that complaining over the past several weeks has finally cashed out. So I should, in the coming next 2 weeks, now that bit of work is finally done, I should have some time for Vijay again for at least a little bit. I'm got a few more projects on the horizon, but they will not need me to actively interact with them for a few weeks. So hopefully we'll get a few weeks where I can sit down and really chew into the Elden Ring DLC and Dawntrail. Not Dawntrail. Yes, Dawntrail. I thought I said Endwalker, but no, I did say Dawntrail that time. And yeah, that's that'll be that for that. Keep crying about the Elden Ring DLC, people. It makes me very happy when you cry in the Steam reviews. Just don't cry enough that FromSoft actually gets cold feet next time they want to make something hard. But do keep crying a little bit though. That's fun. All right, we will see you next week. Sayonara. Bye bye.